But yeah, our next guest is also going to join us, and he is a partner or a participant in the borough also.
He is, I believe, a partner in
Yes.
Poetry in the Borough, and we do have
His
a
bio for you.
yes, and so
So
we're gonna let him
yeah, we're
in
gonna let him
the
in
room.
first. And this is Gregory Lannom.
Mhm.
So Gregory, we don't know if you want to go by Greg or Gregory, so we're
Well,
just going to call you
here
Gregory.
he is.
He's going to present to us The Bells, that was posthumously published in November 1849.
Okay,
And
hold on. He's still muted, so I wanna make sure.
yeah,
Hey, Gregory.
you may just stepped away for the moment.
He may have.
You got to send him the mental of
Yes.
everything.
Well, and he is a little bit early, which is totally
Oh
fine.
yeah,
And
we're down with that. So if he's not ready, that's
Ooh.
fine. There he
Oh,
is.
hello.
Yes. Hey,
Hi. So
do you go
Greg or
by
Gregory?
Gregory or Greg?
It's officially Gregory, but Greg
Okay,
is fine
perfect.
okay,
too.
wonderful. So
All right, so
welcome, and your background is fantastic.
yes, Poe
Thank you,
and
thank you.
the kitties.
Yes,
This is actually a painting I did,
that is beautiful.
yeah,
Yes.
a few years ago.
Okay,
So I'm mainly an artist, but I do writing and poetry as well.
okay.
So I wanted to share that, and also I didn't expect to be so nervous having Poe look over my shoulder as I'm reading this
Don't you hate
stuff.
when that happens?
Is
It
it
just
Poe or
occurred.
the black cat?
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
making you more
both.
nervous?
Yeah.
So you want me to go ahead of
Yeah,
schedule?
I'm gonna finish up your bio for everybody because I just got
yes.
it. We wanted to make sure that you were ready. So we're giving just a little bit of background about what you're going to be reading
Mhm.
and a little
Okay.
bit about you, and then you can expound upon that after you're done. But
All
as
right.
we said, you're going to be presenting with us the bells,
Mhm.
and then also the haunted palace, which I believe is actually in the Fall of the House of Usher,
Yes.
not separate. It
Yes.
was 1839.
Mhm.
As you were telling us, you're an artist. You're a write it. That's writer and poet together. By the way, you're a writer and a poet that also lives in Murfreesboro, as we talked about with Brianna earlier.
Mhm.
Yes.
You are also a cat person. You're right in our alley there.
Mhm.
But because he's been an avid reader and a fan of Edgar Allan Poe since childhood, you've never owned a black cat. So,
No.
you can tell us a little bit about that once you're finished with your readings, and we'll find out more about you and why you chose the poems you did. So,
Yes.
without further ado,
I have
Gregory
owned a
Lannom.
couple of tuxedos,
oh,
Oh, nice.
but they were
I have
white enough
one.
that they didn't count.
yes, I had one and she died a couple years ago,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
we love them.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, it's apropos that I'm following Brianna because she's part of the Poetry in the Borough
Mhm.
group
Yes.
that I'm with here. Me and Brianna actually helped found our open mic community here
Nice.
in the borough, and I came to the first or second meeting they had, and I've been part of the team since, helping Corey Wells
Yes.
out. There's a name drop for you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we had an event last Thursday, and I heard Brianna read a poetry there, and so it's very, very fitting. I'm here ahead of schedule. Um,
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, it's all good.
it worked very well for us. It's like it was meant to be.
Yes,
Outstanding.
absolutely.
All
So,
right.
Yes.
Well,
take it away.
so you want me to go ahead and read the pieces, and then maybe afterwards expound on why I made the choices and that sort of thing?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that would be
Yes.
All
great.
right.
And
Yes. And so
we're just going to blank out so
yes, just
you
so
don't
the
see it. So
screen
you'll
is
be
you
the
for
center
you.
of attention.
Okay.
Yes. So
So when you're
take it
ready for
away.
us, just call us back.
All right. We'll do. I've got my big book of Poe here. The Haunted Palace. In the greenest of our valleys, by good angels tenanted, once a fair and stately palace, radiant palace, reared its head. In the monarch Thought's dominion, it stood there. Never seraph spread opinion over fabric half so fair. Banners yellow, glorious, golden, on its roof did float and flow. All this, was in the olden time, long ago. And every gentle air that dallied in that sweet day along the ramparts plumed and pallid a winged odor went away. Wanderers in that happy valley, through two luminous windows, saw spirits moving musically to a lute's well-tuned law, round about a throne where, sitting for Pharaoh Gene, in state his glory well befitting, the ruler of the realm was seen. And all with pearl and ruby glowing was the fair palace door, through which came flowing, 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 and sparkling evermore a troop of echoes, whose sweet duty was but to sing in voices of surpassing beauty the wit and wisdom of their king. But evil things, in robes of sorrow, assailed the monarch's high estate. Ah, let us mourn, for never sorrow shall dawn upon him desolate. And round about his home the glory that blushed and bloomed is but a dim remembered story of the old time entombed. And travelers now within that valley through the red litten windows see vast forms that move fantastically to a discordant melody, while like a ghastly rapid river through the pale door, a hideous throng rush out forever and laugh, but smile no more. The bells. Hear the sledges with the bells, silver bells. What a world of merriment their melody foretells! How they twinkle, twinkle, tinkle in the icy air of night, while the stars that oversprinkle all the heavens seem to twinkle with a crystalline delight, keeping time, time, time in a sort of runic rhyme to the tintinnabulation that so musically wells from the bells, 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 from the jingling and the tinkling of the bells. Hear the mellow wedding bells, golden bells. What a world of happiness their harmony foretells. Through the balmy air of night, how they ring out their delight from the molten golden notes, and all in tune, what a liquid ditty floats to the turtle dove that listens while she gloats on the moon. Oh, from out the sounding cells, what a gush of euphony voluminously wells! How it swells, how it dwells on the future! How it tells of the rapture that impels to the swinging and the ringing of the bells, 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 of the bells, 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 to the rhyming and the chiming of the bells. Hear the loud alarum bells, brazen bells. What tale of terror now their turbulency tells? In the startled air of night, how they scream out their affright. Too much horrified to speak, they can only shriek, shriek, out of tune, in a clamorous appealing to the mercy of the fire, in a mad expostulation with the deaf and frantic fire, leaping higher, 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 with a desperate desire, and a resolute endeavor now, now, to sit or never by the side of the pale-faced moon. Oh, the bells, bells, bells! What a tale their terror tells of despair, how they clash and clang and roar, what a horror they outpour on the bosom of the palpitating air. Yet the ear it fully knows, by the twanging and the clanging, how the danger ebbs and flows. Yet the ear distinctly tells, in the jangling and the wrangling, how the danger sinks and swells, by the sinking or the swelling in the anger of the bells, of the bells, of the bells, 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 in the clamor and the clangor of the bells. Hear the tolling of the bells, iron bells. What a world of solemn thought their monody compels. In the silence of the night, how we shiver with affright at the melancholy meaning of the tone. For every sound that floats within the rust within their throats is a groan. And the people, the people, they that dwell up in the steeple all alone, and who, tolling, 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 in that muffled monotone, feel a glory in so rolling on the human heart a stone. They are neither man nor woman. They are neither brute nor human. They are ghouls. And their king it is who tolls, and he rolls, 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 a paean from the bells. And his merry bosom swells with the paean of the bells, and he dances and he yells, keeping time, 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 in a sort of runic rhyme to the paean of the bells, keeping time, 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 in a sort of runic rhyme, to the throbbing of the bells, 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 to the sobbing of the bells, keeping time, 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 as he knells, 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 in a happy runic rhyme, to the rolling of the bells, 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 to the tolling of the bells, 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 to the moaning and the groaning of the bells. You can come back now.
Awesome. Very nice, both poems. And Holly, one of our participants and viewers, said Haunted Palace. She gave a heart. And so I'm watching. Jeannie's taking a little bit of a break. And so I'm watching for other comments. But very nice. Love the emotion in the bells, just starting out with that excitement, and then building to that, you know, what a lot of people have said is kind of like from birth to death of all the different types of bells you go through. And so, Gregory, what was your inspiration like to read? For choosing both of those poems?
A few reasons. One, both poems use Poe's fondness for the musicality
Hmm.
of the language. And Poe is one of those poets you have to read his stuff out loud, really. I
Yes.
think everybody should read all poems out loud just to themselves if they need to do. But the rhythm and the meter of it, it's almost like a song. The
Yes.
way he composes and works on the sound of each line, the alliteration, obviously, that probably
Hmm.
has come up, if not already. And then uh, the Haunted Palace is, I just love old-fashioned horror movies, Hammer horror
Yes.
films, back in the day, Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing and the guys. It's got that sort of gothic romance to it. And again, just like you mentioned in the Bells, how we have a transition from lightness and birth through the stages of life.
Hmm.
Uh, the Haunted Palace is also a transition from a kingdom that is happy, and then something dark takes it over.
Yeah.
The inevitability of decay. That was one of the things that Poe used. Uh, Another reason why I chose both of these, and again, the bells is love, and it's got to be read out loud, and the
Hmm.
repetition, and the idea to try to make it kind of sound almost like a bell, that monotone.
Yes.
Oh, I can't remember exactly when it was. It must have been, probably 30 years ago or more. And I don't know where I bought it. And you may know of this existence. Basil Rathbone and Vincent Price did readings of poems and stories, and they put them on cassettes and LCDs, and you can find it anywhere on YouTube or Spotify, I'm sure.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
and Basil Rathbone did the Haunted Palace and the Bells, and he just killed it. And when I was
Yes.
reading these here, I could hear that his voice sort of in the back of my head. I didn't follow his intonation exactly bit
Yeah.
by bit, but I was thinking of his approach to the material and the
Hmm.
the acting that he put into it. in both of the
Yes.
pieces, especially the bells, because of the four sections are different in tone and no pun intended,
Yeah.
vibe. You
Yeah.
might
No,
say, well,
absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I totally agree because each of the four pieces, it has to be read differently to
mhm,
make the most sense to kind of the meaning behind it. So
because he meant for you to feel differently
absolutely,
about it.
yes.
Another thing that helped me pick out these two is and I don't know if this performer is still doing it, and I just happened to think of him while we were talking, is I happened to see a performance at the Center for the Arts here in Murfreesboro, it's
Hmm.
probably 15 years ago, but it was a Poe impersonator. And what he did is he had a whole show that replicated Poe's lectures that he did, because people who know history of Poe, he made his real work was his essays and reviews,
His
and he went on these
criticisms,
lecture
yes.
tours, and it was like this one-man show he would do where he would read out loud his poems and talk about just whatever was on his mind. And I'm pretty sure that the former at that Center for the Arts show here in Murfreesboro, that he read these two because they work so well in front of an audience. And thank you for
Yes.
letting me share these and
Yes,
to
we're
be part of
so
this event.
yeah, we're so happy. I had reached out to Corey and said, anybody that wants to share out because, Jeannie and I are, I guess Poe, Tennessee, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And it's like, we follow poetry in the borough. We haven't been able to come to some of your events, but we're gonna make that a goal to try to do that.
Oh, outstanding. We're
And
glad to have you.
yeah,
It's a
because
great event.
you guys do some, it looks like amazing things. And
Hmm.
Mhm.
so I think he's gotten some more comments. So
Yes. Season also said awesome painting,
hmm.
and so did Holly. Said loved your cool art, and Season said ghastly rapid river, love it. Holly loves Haunted Palace, and the Bells is one of her faves,
Yes.
and she said that's what brought her to Mr. Poe.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Oh,
thank you for
okay.
sharing, sir.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always
Gregory.
interesting to see how people find out about Poe.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So where did you come to know Poe like first?
How
Oh,
did Poe get to you?
a young age. I was a big reader when I was a kid, and I've always liked this sort of stuff. And
Mhm.
man, how soon was it? Man, I can't tell. Early age,
Yeah.
very early. But yeah, just an amazing. As an artist, I think about him and Vincent Van Gogh as being people ahead of their time, and it's
Yes.
and it just I was just thinking the other day, something to do with Civil War history here in Murfreesboro, and it made me think about how Poe was doing all this before the Civil War, how long ago it was, and how this stuff still resonates. I mean, we'll be talking about Poe like Shakespeare centuries from now because of the
Absolutely.
impact of these works. And although a lot of these have aged, it's very gothic and dusty. There's a lot
Mhm.
of cobwebs in Poe's work,
Yeah.
now, but it still hits you.
It does,
Yeah.
and some things really
Yeah.
transcend and can connect with modern times.
100%.
Mask of the Red Death with the pandemic, and I mean, just
Yes.
there's all we could go on for hours talking about that.
Yeah, in some ways, Poe has exceeded Shakespeare because of, with Shakespeare. I mean, I'm an avid Shakespeare's fan.
Oh yeah.
Have always loved Shakespeare,
Hmm.
but his stories are very traditional, in my opinion,
Hmm.
of things that were happening in the time. Whereas Poe's has left it such an interpretation that it allows for growth
Yeah.
Yes.
and
Hmm.
change
Yeah.
and can fit with any time.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
yes, thank you, Gregory, for sharing with
Yes.
us, and
Thank
Oh,
we
you,
hope
and
to
your art
see
as
you.
well.
Yeah,
but
we
Yes.
but
love your art.
thank you for
Yes.
again. Glad to be a part of this, and I'm gonna hang out for and watch the YouTube for just a bit, and then I'll
Okay.
have to sit down
Great.
and watch the whole thing.
Okay.
So
Well,
carry
thank
on.
you for joining us,
Yes.
and we
Thank
Yeah,
love
you
I've
so
I've
having
got to
you.
much.
go.
And
A
Hope to
guy
see
wants
you
me to
soon.
see this cask of sherry in his basement. I gotta go check that out. So
There you go.
Yeah, be
Just need
wary.
Well, and hopefully we'll get to meet you in person soon.
Yes.
come out to Fortune Grove. We're glad to have you.
All
All
right.
right,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
great weekend.
Same to y'all.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
and
it
we're
was
gonna
great.
we're gonna jump right in. Our next guest has